In this word problem, we are given a formula to use in order to solve for one of the unknown variables. We are also told what each of the variables stands for, and here we are given all of the known information. To solve this word problem, we can use the same 5-step strategy that we learned for solving word problems. In this case, we still need to write down all of the known variables, and we need to determine which variable is unknown within the formula. And we've already been given the formula, so we don't need to figure that one out. So to complete step 1, we need to pull out each of the variables from this formula. So the first variable is k. Then you can see there's a w, an h, and an A. Here we can see that K is the number of calories, so we're looking right here. K is the number of calories needed each day by a moderately active woman to maintain her weight. In the problem you can see that it says Cindy needs 1901 calories per day. So for K, we're going to write 1901 calories. Then it says here that W is the weight in pounds. We also know that Cindy weighs 120 pounds. So for W, I'm going to write 120 pounds. And height, H is the height in inches. I can't find anything about Cindy's height in this problem, so I'm going to continue. A is the age in years. It says that Cindy is 23 years old, so A equals 23 years. So that means that H must be the variable that we need to solve for. So we now have all of our given information and our unknown variable. So we have completed step 1. Next, we need to translate this information into a math sentence. So that just means that we're going to plug in the values that we know. So we can rewrite this equation. Instead of the K, I'm going to write 1901 equals 917 plus 6 times, and then instead of W, I can write 120 plus, we don't know H, and then instead of A, I'm going to write minus 23. So now we've successfully translated the information into an equation. So we can check off step number 2 and move on to step number 3. Step number 3 is to solve for the unknown variable. Here's our unknown variable, so that means we need to get H alone. We do have parentheses. Within the parentheses, we have like terms that we can combine. So the first thing I'm going to do is do 120 minus 23, and I'm going to keep that in the parentheses. So I'm going to end up with 97 plus H inside the parentheses, and then everything else in the equation stays the same. It's easiest if I combine these two numbers within the parentheses before distributing. You could have also distributed first. Now I'm going to go ahead and distribute my 6 into the parentheses so that I can get rid of these parentheses. When we distribute, we can rewrite this equation as 1901 equals 917 plus, and then we're going to go ahead and put 6 into both set of parentheses and a multiplication sign into both sets of parentheses, and then we can put 97 into the first set of parentheses and H into the second set of parentheses. Now we're going to simplify and get rid of the parentheses. So we end up with 1901 equals 917. Fix that. Alright, plus 6 times 97, which is 582, plus 6h. After we distribute, we need to combine like terms. When we combine like terms, we're going to go ahead and combine 917 plus 582. We end up with 1901 equals 1499 plus 6h. Now we're going to use the law of opposites to get all of the variables on one side of the equation and all the constants on the other side of the equation. This side already has my only variable, so I'm going to go ahead and move the constant by subtracting 1499 from both sides. When I do that, I end up with 402 on the left and 6h on the right, because these two are going to cancel. And then our final step is to use the law of reciprocals to divide. So we're going to divide by 6 to get h alone, and that means that h equals 67. So this means that her height is 67 inches. We're going to go ahead and see if that makes sense. 67 naturally sounds like a pretty normal height, so let's go ahead and plug it in. Actually, let's go back here, check off step 3 because we've solved for the unknown variable, and now let's go ahead and check our work. Here's step 4. So in place of the h, we're going to plug in 67 since we found that h equals 67. So if we do that, we end up with 1901 equals 917 plus 6 times 120 plus 67 minus 23. Using order of operations, we're going to go ahead and compute everything in the parentheses first. Since it's just addition and subtraction, we can just do the math in order of. So we're going to have 120 plus 67 minus 23, which equals 164. This is going to be times 6, and then the rest of the equation is the same. 1901 equals 917. Using order of operations, after p, we have no exponents, so we're going to move on to multiplication and division. I can see that I have multiplication right here, so I'm going to do 6 times 164, which equals 984. Everything else stays the same. And then the final step is to do 917 plus 984, which sure enough equals 1901. We've successfully checked our answer. So we can go back here and check off step 4. Finally, we just need to state our answer clearly. So for this problem, we got that h equals 67. So that means that Cindy's height is 67 inches. We can write that as Cindy's height is 67 inches, or how we normally talk about people's height, we could say, or 5'7". Now we have successfully completed this problem, and you're good to go.